what's crazy? I'm gonna be 20 in not that long, and I've already about done with a year of college. Time flies, really does. Not a huge fan of all the traffic down here. Granted, it's not in New York City, but it's still a lot more than 6 cars deep at the 4-way in Palmyra. There's a lot of people here in the dorms that are kind of in the process of trying to get moved out, so it's kind of busy.
Chase, you try it. No, not me, not me.
2 hits. I hit your head, you hit the ground. I'd be lying if I tell you that I wouldn't miss it just a little bit. But we've got work to do. North of Centralia here on my way home, there's a good bit of ground that's been planted already. Oh, at long last, we're home. A very loyal puppy dog's here to greet me. Good girl. Hello, babies. Our part-time guy, Phil, is just getting back with a semi, and I think him and I are gonna go move some equipment. Phil is gonna help me move all this stuff back over to the west side of this farm to another 150 acres. But man, you can get something done in a day in a field like this. It's a tad dry right here in this one spot. Of course, this is where we turn around all the time, where we drive trucks in and out, so it's gonna be a little more dry and compacted than the rest of the field. Big rig in it. Well, we made her. Dad's over here on this farm just planting away. We're gonna get this water tank dropped off here, and then we're taking this truck to another farm. This jack, not very quick. This is very, very important. This is a keeper. Without it, you're gonna lose your hitch pin. Goes our field cultivating rig. Hey, I remember breaking that. Phil dropped me off here at the 9570 RX, which is hooked up to the Salford, and I'm gonna take it back home. I just want to give a massive thank you to whoever's driving this white Chevy pickup in front of me, because they have their blinkers on for me, and they're acting as a pilot vehicle, and I really appreciate that. They're probably not watching, but if they are, I want to say thank you. Neighbors are out planting too. I'm gonna fire up the 4320 here and take it over to the shop and see if I can fabricate a monitor bracket to put over here somewhere. Starts like nothing. First step here is gonna be to find a suitable chunk of steel to make this bracket out of. And over here, I'm not really seeing anything that's quite what I'm looking for. Do you see anything? Okay, you're no help. The rough plan here is to drill 2 holes where these 2 marks are on this piece of metal, and then make a 90-degree bend down in here somewhere, and then make another 90-degree bend so it can wrap around the console. It'll look, I promise it'll make sense when it's on the tractor. Got the first hole drilled, and the most important part to this is to make sure that the bolt fits through the hole, which it does, and it's a tight fit too, so it's not gonna just fall off randomly in the field. Don't want that to happen. I've had that happen before. Perfect. This is how we're gonna put the 90-degree bend in this piece of metal. This isn't any Renner Stock Farms level of engineering, but this will get the job done. To make sure this is a very crisp corner, we're gonna use this little tool here called a hammer. My original plan for making that little monitor bracket is not going to work because I didn't take into account how tall the hydraulic levers were, and it interferes with them going into detent or float on the downward stroke, so not gonna work. My new plan is to make something that's gonna mount on the fender and that I can just unbolt from one fender. Like if I was gonna use the 4320 to plant, I could bolt it to the fender, or if I was gonna use my 730 to plant, I could bolt it to the fender of the 730. Woof, 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 woof. That took way longer than I thought it would. But now I have a monitor and I'm switched over to beans, so I'm ready to plant whenever I get seed. Tillage. My landlord was kind enough to let me use this little tractor again to work down this area here that needs to get seeded to grass. This really isn't the time of the morning I intended to be doing this, but it's the time that I have to. Ah, that little rig is very fun to run. It's about 8 o'clock now, and the dew still isn't burned off the grass, so I can't mow quite yet. So I think what I'm gonna do is go back to the house and maybe make some lunch. I don't know, may not have time. And I'm gonna go down to the bottom and start trying to roll over some ground with the diamond harrow. Here's the work site for today. Unfortunately, we're not going to be driving that, even though that would be a lot of fun. We're down here at the Mississippi River bottom. We're gonna be using this new Kelly diamond harrow behind our 9460R that I drove off a cliff last year. That was kind of fun. Actually, not really. But this diamond harrow is a little bit different from our last one. It's got the same standard kind of a dull blade on the back. But here on the front, these blades are a lot sharper. Like they actually appear to be sharp. But this is a 195 acre field. And hopefully between me and the guy I have coming to run this, we can get it done today. I forgot how much I like this tool. Here in the river bottom, we have these nice things called irrigators that we have to get out and move so we don't run over them. The protocol for this is pretty simple. Go up to it and tap it to make sure it doesn't have power to it. Open this nice cover here, and they all turn clockwise normally, so we want it to turn counterclockwise right now. And I just started it, so it should start moving. We're getting along pretty good, rolling right along at 10.7 miles an hour. By my math, we're getting almost 60 acres an hour done when we're going forward. That doesn't take into account turning around, or if you miss a spot and you have to go back, or going around risers. But we're getting along pretty good right now. I'm very pleased with our progress. I had forgotten that the pivots like this will stop when they reach a north-south orientation. So it quit moving with like maybe a couple feet left to go, so that's kind of a pain. It's not even gonna take it that long to move, it just didn't do it the rest of the way. Okay, it's moved far enough. It's time to shut down here for a little bit. I need to mow the yard at home and then go take over running the field cultivator for one of our other guys. Aw, the poor Case IH is broken down. Today, so far, I've worked 150 acres, mowed 3 yards, rototilled some grass that's gonna get seeded down, drank 3 waters, half a Powerade, moved 2 trucks, you know, just a day in the life. One long drive after another. Back to mowing for the time being. Earlier this evening, my grandpa started spraying burn down for our bean ground. It was a little windy then, and now it's 2.5 hours later, and there's very, very little wind. That's Northeast Missouri for you. But he's filling up the tank right now with this garden hose, and he told me to shut it off when it gets to 1,000, and it's getting pretty close to 1,000 gallons. Yeah, by the time we get down there and shut her down, it'll be at 1,000. We're gonna take this bag of grass seed and this little turf spreader right here, and we're gonna go seed down, well, attempt to seed down part of a lawn. And this is the part that I worked up earlier today, like at 8 o'clock in the morning. I seriously forgot to mow like 30 square feet of yard. That is a major kick in the pants. But guess who's gonna be driving a mower back across the highway to mow for 30 seconds? This guy. This yard and house is the place I'm gonna be seeding some grass. This place is extremely old. Like, the house was built in 1863, and the yard I don't think has been refurbished since then, so I just kind of have to deal with what I have as far as grass, which sometimes, really isn't a whole lot of grass out here. My high-tech grass seeding rig is now loaded up, and we're gonna use the method where you open it up all the way and then you spread it till there's nothing left. The sky's pretty tonight. Well, that's one patch done, but the problem is that the largest field, or the largest spot we're gonna plant grass is pretty big. So, yeah. This here is the primary area that we need to plant some seed, and it's a lot bigger than this is really capable of. So we just have to make a bunch of passes over it, basically. At least we've got some nice views. This is spreader number 4 full of grass. Thank goodness that job's done. 9 spreaderfuls is how much that was. Okay, I picked up some sticks and the grass is seeded. Sun's going down. I'm gonna have to hurry, like go pretty quick if I want to get that little, like 20 square feet of yard that I missed and get that cut, because Grandpa might see it and I don't know if he'd like that very much. The sun's going down, unfortunately. Means we're gonna be working ground in the dark. The 9460R is behind me with the Diamond Harrow. My employee did not tear it up. I think he did a good job. I don't see anything that's broken, but you never know. I'm fueling the tractor up right now and might be running through the night tonight because we're talking about rain around noon tomorrow. And if I can get as much of this ground down here covered as I can, that's a good thing. Mimi's coffee, and I've got a cooler with 4 water bottles and a mellow yellow. Tractor just threw me the engine air filter restricted code, so I'm gonna get out and tap out the filter real quick and see if that makes the code go away. Now I'm very glad that I got out and tapped the air filter out, because about 4 pounds of dust and dirt came out of it. That would be why it was throwing me the filter restriction code. I got the 90-acre field that I want to get done, so I'm gonna fold up, do a 6-acre field, and then we're calling it a night, because it's midnight right now. And by the time I get home, it'll probably be 1 o'clock in the morning. By the time I go to bed, it'll probably be 2. Do-de-do-de-do. I believe that it is time to shut her down for the night. Truth be told, I'm kind of tired because I got 5 hours of sleep last night. I'm probably going to get the same tonight. Or today. Maybe it is tonight. I don't know. That was a really short night. I really didn't get moving as fast as I wanted to this morning because it's 8:30 right now. And when you don't go to sleep until 2, it makes it kind of difficult to get up at 6. Definitely a little too cool and chilly to spray today. Neighbors are out this morning. I've got my little cousin Logan with me. He's from Katy, Texas. And now we're coming up on the place where I actually drove this tractor off of a cliff last year to save someone's life. So we're going very slow. Right there is where it went off the hill, and I took that power line with me. It's a little surreal going through here. But as you can see, there is barely enough room for just this tractor, not much less a car and a tractor. There's 105 acres here on this farm in one field with one thing to go around, so this is gonna go pretty quick. We got an old silo too. I finally finished up end rows here on this 105 acres. Now we gotta fold this thing up, which consists of 3, 2, and then number 1. It's very important that it's done in that order, and then when you're unfolding it, in the reverse order, because if you don't, it will break. We've already broken it once, so yeah, the idea here is to not break it. This has been my view for probably the past 6 hours of my life. It's a nice one. However, there's one thing I don't like about this Kelly Diamond Harrow, and that it is extremely dusty. But Rut-row, Raggy. I like big fields down here in the bottom. They're great for efficiency. However, they are extremely boring to run in, which I guess is kind of a good thing. You want to see something satisfying? Yeah, get that weed. This is our turning protocol. Get to about here, initiate the turn, and make sure that the outside wing wheels do not turn any sharper than that, because if you do, you will get into the tongue of the implement. Get back to here, press our resume, and there you go. This is my last pass through the field here. I'm gonna start end rows here in about 30 seconds. Like I said, an extremely dusty tillage tool. Now that thing may make a lot of dust, but it really doesn't move a whole lot of dirt. It's mainly chopping up the weeds that are on the surface, and then like maybe an inch of soil. It's not like a field cultivator that's actually lifting the soil and shattering the structure of the first 3 or 4 inches or so. The problems never end. Thank goodness I have a $100 set of tools in here The code that the tractor's throwing may be related to the power chip that we have put on it. And now we plug it back in and hope that it works. You can probably gather from the standing water that we got some rain last night. The weather station there in the house said about 7/10. We were kind of dry, so the water did not run off, and it didn't come very quick either. It came almost over the whole night, so it was a nice little rain. I just had to come out to this shed to take a look at the 4320 and decide what I'm going to do for a cup holder. When I planted all the sunflowers and sweet corn, I had a bottle of water with me, and it was just kind of rolling around, and I really didn't like that. So I'm going to try and find like a piece of PVC pipe and then screw it to a piece of wood and then bolt the piece of wood to the fender of the tractor. I'd like to thank everybody for watching, and subscribe if you haven't already. You're going to miss out on more fun, real fun stuff coming up. As of right now, we have like 3,981 subscribers. So close to 4,000. And I'd like to thank every single person for that. That's it for this one, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.